Generation 8. To say that this generation has been controversial is an understatement. But at the very least, it did give us some new Pokemon to appreciate, make fan art of, and discuss why it replaced the Monka from the National Dex. Good times. But hey, at least they didn't announce TLC that is new Pokemon and have people compare them to EA for really stupid reasons. So today I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite Pokemon from the Galar region. Keep in mind though that this is not a ranked list. This is just me talking about my faves in no particular order. So yeah, inside of that, I will also be focusing on the entire evolutionary line, and not just one particular mon from it, and I will also be excluding regional variants and their evolutions to keep things as fresh as possible. Though for those curious, Obstagoon and its Reckless line are my favorites out of the variants / evolutions for said variants. So yeah, let's begin. Let's start with what you get at the beginning of the game, the starter. Plus, I have it as my thumbnail anyway, so let's just cut the BS and talk about why I like Inteleon / the Sobble line. Now, funny story about this one. Back when the game was first announced, I was actually more of a Grookey fan than Sobble. But as time went on, I started to grow more attached to Sad Kermit, and sure enough, I liked its final evolution in terms of design and its story of growing from a crybaby to an emo teen to a sassy adult with a lot of intelligence to boot. Largely because, well, I kinda shared a similar story to it growing up. Not to say that I view this thing as my spirit animal or some shit like that, because that is ridiculous, but it was the most relatable S-starter to me when it came to the 3 Galar options, so yeah. I also really like its signature move more than Rillaboom and Cinderace's, since it bypasses abilities that draw in moves, and also has an increased critical hit rate, which is nice. And its stats aren't too bad either. Plus, it also has decent move coverage in both level up and TM/TR boots, so yeah, it's a nice bonus to a Pokemon I already liked. So yeah. Speaking of water types though, how about we continue this train and talk about a big dumb burb that shoots a big dumb fish like a big dumb missile. Yeah, I really like Cramorant. Sure, it's not the best in terms of stats, and that water flying type does make it easy to fry by electric types, but its concept, ability, and solid move pool honestly sold me on this bird, on top of me already liking most bird Pokemon already. It's fluffy, it's small, and it looks so derpy that I just can't take my eyes off it. I also really like its ability Gulp Missile, because when it uses Surf/Dive, depending on how much health it has, it comes back with either an Arrokuda or a freaking Pikachu, and seeing it Squirm/trying to cough it back up helps this Pokemon in terms of memorability to me. Can Pelipper do what Cramorant does? No, it can't, and that's one reason I somewhat prefer Cramorant to Pelipper here. Plus, when it gets hit with either of these Pokemon inside its mouth, Cramorant just spits it up and it looks hilarious, on top of also doing decent amounts of damage, or in Pikachu's case, paralysis to the opponent. Now I just want to see Cramorant and other regions going forward. What happens if it spits up a Rowlet or a Tentacool? The possibilities are endless, and even if it doesn't have Thunder moves in its arsenal, this Gulp Missile ability and how it reacts? Yeah, someone takes away the negative in my eyes because of how good/hilarious this ability is, and, well, also kind of memorable the design is. As well as, again, the solid move pool. So, in other words, I like it because it's cute, and, well, it amuses me. But there is also a bird that I do like, not based on amusement, and that is the Corviknight line. For one thing, I like its unique typing for early game bird Pokemon. Instead of making its final evolution part normal, or giving it a fire theme for its final evolution, you decided to make this thing Flying Steel, and make its best stat be in physical defense instead of either attack or speed. Which is honestly good, because it helps this mon stand out from its other early game bird colleagues, and yeah, its stats are also relatively solid, which is nice, and its move pool is also really nice in terms of coverage and damage. I also really like its signature ability Mirror Armor, because it's basically Magic Bounce, but it applies to stat lowering moves and abilities instead of, well, entry hazards and effects. Even its design looks great, as it's basically an armored raven, and, well, I like ravens, so that's a nice bonus on top of this metal burp cake. I even like its journey of starting as a rookie bird, and then growing into a squire, and then finally a knight in armor. It's a small detail, sure, but it's a detail I do like, since I'm a sucker for a story about growing up and learning, so yeah, I'll take it. Even its Gigantamax form is really cool in terms of design and G-Max move, as it's gone from a knight to basically a friggin' warplane dropping spikes like a warplane dropping missiles or bombs. Man, forget what I said about Cramorant. Corviknight is the best bird Pokemon this gen. Alright, enough of the burbs. How about I talk about a Pokemon that shares my annoyance with loud noises? I also like its design across all 3 stages, starting as a cute enemy you'd see in a Kirby game, to a cute being with a hat too big for its head, to
call me cute and I will end you.
Also its Gigantamax of being the damsel and the tower itself. Good stuff. Yes, Hatteran's speech stat is shit, but I do like the focus on its special stats and its ability/variety and move pool somewhat, and honestly I think those make up for the weakness of it. I even like its signature move Magic Powder, because it can turn the opponent into a psychic type for the most part, and given the fact this thing has decent dark moves in its arsenal, it's honestly great to have in single and double battles personally. Speaking of dark types, though, Thievul is also a nice Pokemon to have on my team, and it also had a good design and move pool to boot, so there is that. It just wasn't as competitively viable as, say, Hatterene or other Mons. On the topic of four-legged creatures, I did really like Yamper and Boltund. Took us long enough to get a Corgi Pokemon, and this one didn't disappoint. Yamper is really damn adorable in terms of design, and even its evolution into a Greyhound looks really solid in terms of design, and it's honestly just kind of cute. Both also have a really good move pool variety and decent stats, so that's a nice most to have. Even if Toxtricity is a way better electric type when it comes to stats, moves, and abilities, but I digress. Enough of the cute Mons with short summaries, though. Let's get the pacing back on track. That's where Dragapult comes in. When I first saw this Mon used by Leon, I was a bit confused by it. Then when I got a Dreepy through Wonder Trade, or whatever the fuck it's called, Surprise Trade, and leveled it up to this thing, I was legit stunned by how great this Pokemon is in battle. Sure, it's mainly a physical/special sweeper with poor defenses and 5 weaknesses, but with a great move pool and a great signature move Dragon Darts, I think it makes up for that weakness a bit, especially since the latter is a 2-hit attack in solo battles and hits both opponents in a double battle, making it useful in both formats as well, even if, well, some moves can also do that, but still, it's a nice move, and hey, it's shooting at mini Dreepies. I don't see other Pokemon doing that. It's a nice concept. Even its abilities are relatively solid, from preventing stat decreases, to bypassing shields and barriers, to even disabling an opponent's damaging move for a few turns. It's good stuff. And sure, it's probably not the best pseudo-legendary in terms of stat placement and typing, but Dragapult was still really useful/powerful to me when playing through the post-game, as it dominated a bunch of our trainers in the Battle Tower, thanks to its great speed stat as well as other attack stats, move pool, and signature move. And like I said before, I also like its design, and the concept of shooting at its pre-evolution at enemies is certainly a memorable one, as well as amusing since, well, what other Pokemon does that? But it probably does make the pseudo-legendary party a bit awkward when the kids are brought in. So that concludes my video. What are some of your favorite Galarian Pokemon? Let me know in the comments below. Also, I just realized this is coming out after the Pokemon Direct. Whoops. Yeah, I apologize for that, but also to be fair, I didn't expect the Pokemon Direct to be this soon, so yeah, still though, my bad. Gigantamax and Teleon does look great. Rillaboom is also kind of good, and hey, I'm a sucker for Cinderace's Gigantamax, kind of giving me some Solier vibes. But yeah, special thanks to my patrons, and until we meet again, I'm David Grimm, and thank you for watching.